Scotland is a magnificent, untouched paradise in the north of the earth. Apart from the charm of its red-haired people, it is a country that will conquer the hearts with its leadership in sports and science, and with its lush nature. This is such a country that the heroes of its local stories are legendary monsters. Great geniuses have emerged from these lands and carry the souls of their mad warriors within them. Scotland is the homeland of men in skirts, a real-life Harry Potter world, and William Wallace, who was portrayed in the film Braveheart by Mel Gibson. Some may find it hard to believe that such a country exists, but it truly does. This is Scotland. In Scotland, whose capital city is Edinburgh and has a population of only 5.5 million people, the scarlet fever gene is quite common. So much so that at least 40% of Scots are thought to have the red hair gene in their DNA. Scientists attribute this to their lack of sunlight. Scottish people, who turn this situation into fun, organize the Red Parade in the capital, Edinburgh, every year. In addition, I am sure you will be surprised when you hear what kind of inventions Scotland has brought to the world, and that many famous names you know actually come from these lands. The whole world today has a deep wealth of knowledge about antibiotics. We owe this to a Scottish scientist. Scottish-born Alexander Fleming, one of the pioneers of modern medicine, invented penicillin and revolutionized the medical world. Thanks to this discovery, millions of lives were saved, and he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine. In addition, phones that we have not dropped in today's modern world, especially in the last 20 years, have shown tremendous development. It was invented by Scottish inventor Graham Bell. If you like detective series and movies or reading books, you must have heard of Sherlock Holmes's works. Sherlock Holmes, the inspiration of all detective novels, is a product of Scottish writer Arthur Conan Doyle's brilliant mind and imagination. A large part of the Harry Potter series, which has earned its author millions of dollars since its release and has become one of the unforgettable in the cinema industry, is written in Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. On the other hand, Glasgow, the largest city in Scotland, which many confuse with the capital Edinburgh, is also the birthplace of football diplomacy. In 1872, the first official international football match was played here between Scotland and England. Ultrasound, which is used to capture the image of a baby in a mother's womb, was first used in Scotland. Scotland is located in the north of Britain and has had serious problems with the British in the historical process. Therefore, we can say that one of the prominent heroes of the period was William Wallace. Wallace, whose wife was murdered by the British and who could no longer give in to the harassment of the British soldiers, it was instrumental in the start of an uprising in Scotland. Having defeated the British many times in the field battles with the Scottish warriors he gathered, Wallace was eventually captured by the British and heavily punished. So much so that his limbs and head were cut off from the body and exhibited in many different parts of Britain as an example. But with the rebellion he started, Scotland won its freedom in the Great War of Independence, and they laid the foundations of modern Scotland. Scotland remained independent until the 15th century. Later, the country joined the territory of Great Britain in the early 1600s. Therefore, the throne powers were transferred to the King of England by the King of Scotland. Along with Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and England are the countries that make up the Kingdom of Britain. In 2014, a referendum was held in which 84% of the Scottish people participated. And in this referendum, people were asked whether they wanted Scotland to continue as an independent country or to remain part of the United Kingdom. 55% of the public answered no to the question of total independence, and Scotland remained part of the UK. Let's talk a little bit about the cultural elements of the Scottish people. In Scotland, which has a traditional dress that is incompatible with our own culture, this outfit is called kilt. It is a one-piece and skirt-shaped outfit that comes from the waist to the knee. Each of the clans in Scotland wears a different color and pattern of clay. Hunters who hunted in the wilds of Britain in the past started to wear skirts due to their trousers getting dirty very quickly. And these generations later became a symbol unique to Scotland. They prefer to wear these clothes only on special occasions. Also, Scots are world-famous dancers. Therefore, they are happy to display their dances in their traditional costumes. In festivals, you can see many dance types and figures that you cannot count, and you may be surprised. So much so that over 10,000 dance types are mentioned in this country. Scotland is not limited to traditional clothes alone. The gaida instrument, which integrates with them and has a beautiful harmony that will make you chill, so that it appeals to the lowest points of the human soul with its timbre, it is one of the most important elements of this nation. The starting point of this musical instrument is said to be Asia, but it was developed and identified by Scotland over time. Those who have been to Scotland know that Scotland is a magnificent, untouched nature and unspoiled by humans. There are many large and small islands. Places such as the Hanging Stones and Skara Brae, for example, are meticulously preserved to maintain Scotland's medieval atmosphere. In addition, there are approximately 300 historical castles in Scotland. If the size of these castles and the lands on which they are located are taken into account, there is a castle for every 160 kilometers in Scotland. If you go to Scotland, you may feel as if you were living in the Middle Ages of 1,000 years ago. Not in 2025. You may not want to ever return from that country. Scotland is truly a paradise for history lovers. If you are a traveler passionate about the past, the views you see there may take your breath away and bring tears to your eyes. Each city in Scotland reflects different periods of human history. But what is the general character of the Scottish people? As a tourist, you want to be welcomed by the locals when you visit a new country. Due to the stunning landscape and economic prosperity of their homeland, Scottish people are generally fun-loving and cheerful. They also have another notable characteristic. They often speak with a loud and expressive voice. In their spare time, they usually sing in cafes with live music and sip their favorite whiskey. If you love to drink and say eating meat is one of your indispensable things, Scotland may seem like a paradise-like country in this sense. For example, they are very fond of mutton. Therefore, in order to enjoy the traditional dishes of Scotland, you need to have a heartfelt devotion to mutton. Haggis, which can be described as a nightmare for vegetarians, is made using the heart, liver, and lung of a sheep, and then it is boiled in a mixture of the stomach of the sheep. In terms of religion, Scots see themselves as Christians and define themselves as such. However, in the surveys, those who say they do not belong to any religion are too many to underestimate. So much so that 1/3 of this country did not feel close to any religion. Edinburgh University, one of the most popular universities in the country, is due to the articles it publishes and the tens of thousands of successful people it has brought to the business world. Scotland's healthcare system, known as NHS Scotland, provides free medical care at the point of use. It covers everything from general checkups to advanced treatments. The Scottish government manages healthcare independently, ensuring that services are tailored to the needs of its people. Life in modern Scotland blends history with progress. Edinburgh, the capital, is a cultural and intellectual centre filled with festivals, historic landmarks, and modern cafes beside tech offices. Glasgow, the largest city, has a livelier, more industrial vibe, famous for its music, nightlife, and friendly people. Once known for heavy industry, it's now a creative and business hub. Aberdeen, the Granite City, has long been tied to the oil industry but is quickly turning toward renewable energy and sustainable technologies. Scotland regularly ranks high for quality of life. Its cities are safe, its countryside calm, and its people warm and welcoming. Scots are known for their humor and hospitality, always ready for a chat over tea or whiskey. While cities like Edinburgh and Aberdeen can be expensive, the excellent public services, natural beauty, and high standard of living make it a great place to call home. In recent years, Scotland has become increasingly multicultural, with people from Europe, Asia, and Africa enriching its food, arts, and everyday life. Politically, Scotland has a unique role within the United Kingdom. It has its own devolved government and parliament in Edinburgh, responsible for areas such as education, health, and justice. This allows Scotland to make many of its own laws while still being part of the UK. The Scottish Parliament reflects the nation's strong sense of identity and its ongoing discussions about full independence. Getting around Scotland is both easy and scenic. The transport network connects major cities by road and rail, with the famous West Highland Line offering one of the most beautiful train rides in the world through mountains, lochs, and valleys. Ferries make it simple to reach islands like Skye, Orkney, and the Outer Hebrides, while domestic flights link distant regions. International airports in Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Aberdeen connect Scotland to the rest of Europe and beyond. Driving through the Highlands is especially rewarding. Every turn reveals stunning landscapes. Despite its remote areas, Scotland is remarkably well connected. Scotland's 5.5 million people are mostly concentrated in the central belt between Glasgow and Edinburgh, while the Highlands and Islands remain sparsely populated. This creates a unique balance. Vibrant cities surrounded by vast, untouched nature. English is spoken everywhere, but Scotland is proudly multilingual. Scots, a language closely related to English, is still heard in daily life, especially in rural areas. Scottish Gaelic, one of Europe's oldest living languages, survives mainly in the Western Isles and the Highlands. Efforts to preserve it continue through schools, media, and cultural programs, with bilingual signs and public events celebrating both English and Gaelic. In summary, Scotland is one of the rare countries that you will want to live in all aspects. Still, the cold climate can make you a little cold. This brings us to the end. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.